All right. This is the Nuff Said podcast, episode 6, I believe. Correct, Trey? We're on
Five.
episode 6. 5?
Five.
No, it's got to be 6.
Maybe it is, but I put five.
Let me make sure.
That's a dang shame.
Yep, it's episode 6.
Oh, look.
You fucked that up. Anyway, this is Nuff Said, episode 6. My name is Adam Dickens, and this is the best co-host on the planet, Trey Adams, here to entertain and give some of the best uh, commentary and analysis in the game. Uh, Before we get started, thank you for Signer's Wave for our intro song. You guys are amazing. One of the best music collectives. I'd say the best music collective on the East Coast. Again, they made the intro song. Hit their email if you want to book them for a gig, or just tell them they do a great job. Either way, that's what they're there for. Trey, how are you doing, sir?
I am chilling. I'm in chill mode. Been in chill mode since the summer started. I feel like the podcast is getting into chill mode, and we're grounded.
No chill. We ramping up, son. Grind time, as it gets. Uh, before we do get started, is everything looking fine on the YouTube live? Am I choppy still?
No, you're good.
Okay, cool. I was just trying to figure that out.
Yeah, you're good.
Let me check Kick first before we get started too.
You're good on there.
Cool. All right. Again, this is Nuff Said, episode 6. We've been doing this for a month and a half, and I'm so excited, man. This is our baby, right? Let's put it the best way. Our baby, and it is growing and chugging along. A lot of progress and a lot of feedback from you guys. Super happy about that. With that being said, let's go ahead and get jumping into things. Yeah, let's roll. Um, yeah. So, before we get started, social media. We post clips on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. So make sure you guys go follow us. Again, we put a lot of time into this, and we hope we entertain you. We try to, you know, give our honest opinions with a little bit of spiciness.
Facts.
And that's what we try to do, you guys, right?
Facts.
Yeah. But again, we do put a lot of time into it, so please give the follow. We want you guys to get our content in every single way possible you can. We want you to tell your friends about us, and a follow, a share, a like, anything you do is great, and it supports us. And we're there for it. With that being said, let's start with the NBA content that we have or lack thereof. Since we're going into the off season, a lot of off season content. Lonzo Ball will not be back next season. We're not even talking about. We're talking 2 seasons ahead. What podcast talks about 2 seasons into the future? Okay, you know what I'm saying. So Lonzo Ball, he's still having issues with his knee after multiple surgeries. Trey, how are you feeling about this, man?
Um, it's sad to hear. It is. I was a fan of his in college. Seeing what he did at UCLA, and then the comparisons that he had of my favorite player growing up of Jason Kidd, it was just like, okay, I do see some of that in him. I do see a resemblance. And then to come to find out he gets to the league, the Lakers not utilizing him the way they should, and then he gets to New Orleans. I think they should have kept him, but they didn't. And then Chicago, that's where everything goes downhill. And at this point, not to put a knock on his career saying it's over, but the guy kind of has a Brandon Roy career. And I was a big fan of Brandon Roy. And Lonzo, again, he's just, his knees. As a point guard, you need it. You got to play defense. He's a transition runner, playmaker. He needs his legs. His explosiveness, it comes from his legs. But the fact that it's the same knees, it's just like, come on. At this point, you don't even know if he's going to touch a ball again on the court. You don't know.
I really agree with you, and I carry the same sentiment when it comes to Lonzo Ball. We saw him. The old show they used to have with the Ball brothers.
Mm.
I used to watch it on Facebook a lot. So essentially we've seen him
I'm guilty.
grow up.
I'm guilty. I am. I watched it. I was guilty.
It was entertaining, and it really is sad when you see somebody like Lonzo Ball grow up, and he's overcome so many obstacles.
Mm.
A lot of people said he couldn't get past his shot. A lot of people say he couldn't get past his dad. A lot of people said, he couldn't overcome, the expectations of getting drafted by the Lakers. And all of this to come to a point of where you can't get past a knee injury that seems like a 1 in a million chance, pretty much is what he's dealing with. And anomaly, some shit that you would see on like House, the show or something.
Facts.
And if I'm a Bulls fan, man, I'm crying. I am, you brought up Brandon Roy, but it's for Bulls fans. They've been hit time and time again with injuries, like the Derrick Rose situation, where it's just you have not comparing Lonzo to Derrick Rose, but just the injury aspect of like having hope in a player that you really want to do well, and then not be like that.
Man, his freaking, like you said, he was playing good. The 35 games he played last year, he was averaging 13, 5, and 5. I mean, that could his point.
Playing great defense.
Absolutely. He did not come in as a defender, and then now all of a sudden you were saying him and Caruso could be playing defense on the best guards and giving them hell. I agree.
It really is sad, but at the same time, man, it almost feels like Chicago Bulls just gonna Chicago Bull it, and they just going. It feels like this gonna keep happening again and again with them. I have the hope that somehow they'll take care of this. He obviously won't come back. What?
How are they gonna take care of it? What can they do? It ain't nothing on them. That's him.
Oh, no, not the Bulls, but like the doctors, fool.
Yeah.
Like, what you think? The fans about to start doing surgery on them? I hope the doctors. I have the sentiment and the hope that the doctors take care of this, anomaly that he's dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that like he's not. Even if they do, he's not gonna come back close to the player that he was. He's getting plenty of rest. But that's about it.
He's also aging during that time of rest. He's also aging, so it's just like you're only that age once, and if you 35 games into the season, you only playing 35 games because of a pain in your knee. I mean, you do what you gotta do to get your to heal properly. But again, it's just like, dude, how long like I said, I don't even remember the last time I even mentioned his name. That's how bad it is. And again, it's like I wish for the best for him, but yeah.
And on top of that, now you got to see your brother ball out. You got to see LaMelo ball out. You got to go. Lonzo's gonna go to LaMelo's games.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be watching him. And the fact that he can't do anything about getting on the court, it's not like he didn't play well. It's not anything that's really his fault. It's just your body failing. And that can be, if we really want to talk about mental health, not trying to get too deep, but that can be super depressing. And I mean, granted, he is still making millions, from his contract guaranteed. But, if you really love the game, and you see your brother play and your teammates play, and you not play, that's just rough.
Yeah.
Rough as hell.
Yeah.
But let's move on because we tired of depressing conversation.
What you mean? This next topic ain't no fucking better. You got John Collins getting traded to the Jazz in exchange for Rudy Gay, a second-round pick, and some cheddar. And clearly that was a salary dump. But go ahead. I'll let you go first.
Well, no, I was curious. I was gonna ask you a question as far as like where do you see him fitting in on this Jazz roster, because they do have a pretty good team. Like it's not phenomenal, but it's good. They had a good season last year. So where do you think he fits in?
He's gonna be the he's coming off the bench. He's not starting. I feel like obviously you at the four you got their fucking all star and Laurie Marketing, so that's not happening. And then I believe they really believe Walker Kessler can be their center. I mean, he was first all team. He was all rookie first team. So I mean, they clearly believe he can be that plug in at the center. So where does that leave John Collins? He's coming off the bench and he's going to be that energizer guy, and it sucks for him because seeing him come into the league, he's coming being a North Carolina native and all that. He freaking went to Wake Forest. He didn't have a jump shot, and then he developed one, and then he gets traded to a team that I feel like is clearly in a rebuild. It sucks for him, but it's just like I think he'll get his playing time. I do think that. He'll have to earn his bread. He would.
You know what's crazy about? So you talked about him developing jump shot. So apparently, here's like a little shocking fact if no one's ever heard of it. So on his ring finger of I believe his shooting hand is that it's abnormally big now. Like he apparently hit something while he's playing ball, and it's swelled up. So pretty much like his ring finger looks like the humpback of like Notre Dame, pretty much. And so apparently that's what was affecting his shot when he was in Atlanta, and essentially that is pretty much why he regressed, is what they brought up. But not a lot of people are talking about it, but apparently it's a thing. Like it looks horrific, like it's disgusting, and the finger injuries are common, and whether it's NFL or NBA. But apparently that's really hindered his shot, and he's gonna pass his physical, obviously, but that's a big concern of what a lot of people have. So essentially, if you take away his jump shot, he's great at catching lobs. But it takes away a big part of his potential skill set.
Agree.
And
Agree.
essentially, you're getting half a player. If it is true that it really does mess with the shot too much, you're getting half a player. I do like him though, as a player and going to the Jazz. I think he's a good fill piece. I think that for a team, I think he brings energy, and in those moments where you need a little bit of boost, he can provide you with that type of play, whether it's catching a lob or blocking shots, whatever it is. He is that energy booster for a team. And if we're being honest, the Jazz do kind of need that. If we're if we are being honest, I think it just makes that Jazz team just that more stacked. With the hopes that he can have his jump shot come with him.
If he could have been, if his rebounding was a little bit more tenacious in a sense of Kenneth Faried, I think he would be, people would be drooling over this guy in a sense of we need him to come off the bench. We need that. But I don't think he in watching him play and betting on this guy, he doesn't rebound as enthusiastic as he should. And I think that's what keeps him back in a way, because that's why I feel like that's why Atlanta gave him up. I think in the sense of they was like Clint Capella plays enough defense and he gets his rebounds. We can offer to get rid of John Collins. And I think if he was more tenacious rebounding, people like, for instance, Golden State, they would be like, yo, we could use that. Come on. Like, and you could shoot now? Come on. Like, I feel like if he just upgraded that a little bit more, which I think he's going to do now that he has the team that's going to need him to rebound in a way, hopefully, he can benefit from that. So again, maybe it's maybe a perfect suit for him, in the sense of now he can actually develop more fully instead of the team kind of giving up on you in one area. Because let's be real, Atlanta did give up on him rebounding wise. That's why they got Clint Capella. They traded for Clint Capella.
Well, that's why I was a little confused, because I thought that him and Trae Young had a good rapport, especially with Trae loving to do those like fake lob assist,
Yeah.
kind of floater type, that little fake he does. I thought maybe this is the first step of kind of telling Trae Young that like some giving him a message for the future as far as Trae Young maybe leaving out of Atlanta or moving on from Trae Young.
I get you.
I thought they had a good rapport. I thought they were, pretty much friends from what I've been told. Here's a little fact too about John Collins. His dad was in the military, and he does, as far as his development as a kid and throughout college, he always thanked his dad because his dad really put in the discipline aspect to him and really stayed on him about just working on his basketball skills throughout his life. Overall, he's just a good kid. Like if you've ever seen him have a conversation or in an interview, he's just straight up good kid. So I don't have any doubts on him when it comes to him working on his game or like if he's out here doing the wrong things.
Yeah,
like, no doubt in my mind. I think it's just I see this as the Hawks sending a message to Trae Young. And let's be honest, like Clint Capella, last time I checked, I'm not sure of his age, but I think he's getting up there.
Yeah.
I mean, I could.
You're right.
And so
you're right.
When you talk about the future, that it's like I said, I think it's sending Trae Young a message of what's about to happen. Whether it happens or not. Since we're talking the off-season NBA, Tobias Harris was asked a question as far as what he thought about his free agency and trade rumors that have been coming out, specifically with James Harden, who actually signed his player option today with the 76ers. They're still expecting to trade James Harden.
Did they?
He signed his player option, but they're still expected to trade. So essentially, a lot of people are talking Tobias Harris is going to be a part of the trade package.
Okay.
If possibly. But at the same time, we've been hearing Tobias Harris trade rumors for 3 years since he signed that big deal.
Facts.
Everybody hated.
Facts.
He essentially said that casual 76ers fans would trade him for a crumble cookie. Now, the important question is, what is your opinion? Crumble cookies. And have you ever tried them?
I mean, if it's an Oreo, I would trade him for that. I would trade him for some Oreos because what he does in the goddamn playoffs, especially after this year, it was like, what the hell? You can play good against kind of teams that you're expected to beat, being Brooklyn, averaging over 15, between 15 and 20 points a game. And then when you play Boston, you get games where you're putting up 2 points a game. It's like, nah, dog, that's not cool. That's not acceptable.
They signed him to a max contract, correct?
I believe so. I'm off the top of my head. I'm not 100% sure. I did not look up his contract. No.
Okay, I think they did. I believe they did because I think they had to choose between signing Jimmy Butler to a max contract or him to a max. Either way, it was a very expensive contract that they signed him to.
Got you. That's just he's too inconsistent, man. And it's when they need him. That's the thing. It's not just in general because I do feel like regular season he does his regular shit. When they playing again playoffs, last year he was balling in the playoffs. If you look at the stats, he was balling. It's just when they play a good defensive team, pretty much a contending team, certain games you don't know if he's going to show up or not. And I think that's the part that scares the hell out of me if I'm a GM or a coach. Is just like I have this guy that could play 37 to 43 minutes a game because he is tall. He is, I'm not going to say a defender. He's not. But again, at least close to 39% three-point shooter. He could somewhat shoot a decent J, but again, you don't know if he's actually going to be hitting or not. And the fact that you put up in 2 games, you average less than 10 points against the Celtics, is like, dude, they're going to be there moving forward. The same way you say Milwaukee is going to be there moving forward. You can't do that. And you ain't getting no younger. So am I supposed to trust that you're just going to fix yourself overnight when we play a good team in the playoffs? Or do I just say fuck it and get rid of you on top of get rid of your overpaid contract? I think you get rid of him.
So with everything you just said, his response to this question was pretty much he started going down the his list of like his skill set.
Yeah.
Right. So he talked about him being a great well, he said great, post big. He talked about he's talked about his consistency. He talked about not having any problems off the court, being as far as staying on his like physical skills, as far as
True.
being in shape,
True.
never having to worry about that. And his offensive skill set is what he brought up. And so I thought it was a great response to what he said. Now, do I feel how you feel as far as him not being consistent enough offensively? Absolutely. What I do feel it though is he's great in a two role. I don't think he's great being that number three guy on the offense or fourth guy. I
Mm.
don't think. I think he's a great number two, because I think that him, kind of like Chris Middleton, they both have somewhat the same skill set, but they have to, yes, as far as their post skills, just saying.
Mm.
But they have to. They're rhythm players. They have to get enough chances
Mm.
to stay consistent.
That's deep.
And so with that being a great number two, just like Chris Middleton is a great number two. Actually, I'll say good number two. Great is giving Chris Middleton, I feel like, a little too much respect, but like it, either way, I think is great in the number two role. I think he showed how great he could be when he was with the Clippers. Correct? You
Who,
remember his Clippers days?
Tobias? He was out
Yeah.
okay. He wasn't all that. He was okay.
I remember watching him with the Clippers, and as you talked about his consistency on
Mm.
the offensive end, he was a lot more consistent with the Clippers.
I agree.
And also, the big part of him being with Philly was Doc Rivers, because that was his same coach from the Clippers.
Mm.
And so with Doc Rivers being gone, it's kind of like, why do you care about the 76ers? And then on top of that, you take a hit at him, which to me, all of this is adding up to he doesn't want to be with the 76ers anyway. So I don't really care what he thinks about casual 76ers fans. I mean, Crumble Cookie, in my opinion, is trash anyway. So, like, if they trade you for some, it's trash. It's absolutely, like, go Insomnia Cookies. You know what I'm saying? Look, bro, look.
What if
You
it's
know what I'm saying?
what if it's graham cookies that you get from the little store that's like usually now they like $1, but what if it's them crumbled up? Them shit's soft and good. Oatmeal raisin? What? I trade them for them
I fuck,
shits.
I fuck with them. I used to sell them in high school.
See,
Like,
look,
you know what I'm
I
saying? Like,
trade them for them cookies. Fuck out of here.
but Crumble Cookie is what he referenced, and Crumble Cookie's trash. But that's besides the point. It's he doesn't want to be there. If anything, I would, maybe increase the trade talks. Like, you know what I'm saying? He definitely doesn't want to be there. So send him to somewhere he wants. I think what the casual 76ers fan, the criticism behind it is the big payday he got, and the fact that they chose him over Jimmy Butler.
Agreed. Agreed. I agree with that. I definitely agree. Philly fans is crazy. They fucking crazy.
Oh, the only NBA live game I've ever been to was a Philly game, right? And this was years ago. But that's the point. Philly fans, whether it's NFL or NBA, some
Y'all motherfuckers crazy.
Philly fans are always mad because they got to pay them damn tolls, and they still got to run into potholes. That's why they always mad. And then every game they want to go to, because most of them are coming from Jersey, they got to cross the bridge and all this other. That's why they always angry, and that's what it comes down to. But that's besides the fact.
Somebody commented and said, "Who actually wants to be with the Sixers?" I fucking agree. At this point, let alone you a third option, I wouldn't want to be with them. I wouldn't.
What's the name?
Justin LaRoda.
Shout out to Justin LaRoda. We appreciate the comment. Yeah, Philly's miserable, man. Like, you pretty much, like, everybody would rather be in New York, if we're being honest. I'm not a fan of New York, but pretty much New Jersey is like the off-brand version of New York.
What are you talking about, New Jersey? He's in Philly. Hold up. How do you just come at Jersey neck like that? What the fuck?
Most Philly fans are from Jersey.
Whatever. Keep that shit over there. Keep that. No, it's not. No, the fuck it's not. No, don't bring that shit to Jersey. No, it's not.
And they always have to commute because nobody wants to live in Philly, so they gotta go to Jersey. That's where the stadium's at. Trust me. I know this shit, bro. All right. Anyways, NFL stadium, not NBA. So whatever. Besides the point. All right. Let's get to some good shit. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to what people want to talk about. People want to talk about more 76er shit. We're gonna talk about James Harden again signing his player. His what? We got movement. We got movement in chat. No. Okay. James Harden. He signed again his player option. He's still expected to get traded because he doesn't want to be with the 76ers. So where do we think he might go, and how this might go for him?
It's crazy. I'm gonna let you lead on this only because of the simple fact. I didn't know he signed it. I was refreshing my shit all day, and I didn't hear shit until I was working, and I still didn't hear shit. So I'm gonna let you lead with that. I didn't know about it till now.
Yeah, what was posted about 2-3 hours ago? It was like I believe $36 million of money I would love to have.
That's it.
I think. I mean, that's the contract signed for. Because I think it was because he signed with the team that like he wasn't with before, so that was the max he could get with that. Damn. But yes, so everything's telling me he's going to Houston. It seems like this is his home for him. I believe his family still stays in Houston. So that when I say home, I mean because he's not married. Maybe he's married.
Yeah, that suck ain't married. He one of the biggest hoes in the league. Like, don't even flex. That beard for a reason.
But well, I mean, you touched on a point that I was just about to bring up. His second home is where the strippers are at. So I think that's another reason why he wants to go to Houston. I don't blame him, man. If that's your scene, that's your scene. That's not necessarily my scene. But you know what I'm saying? He loved the big booty hoes, and that's where he wants to be at.
Big booty hoes.
Those are his what grandma cookies? What's some shit's called? This is
You're going in on my man right now.
No, I love him, bro. Like, I mean, if that's your thing, that's your thing. Like, we all know. Like, let's not,
shit.
Behind the fact. But it seems like home for him. It's a young team. I think I feel like if he does go to Houston, right? If he agrees to get traded to Houston, I think that it tells me that he's given up on his dreams of getting a ring, right? I think those dreams were still alive when he went to Brooklyn, but that didn't turn out how he wanted to. He dealt with some injuries there, and the whole Kyrie situation. It was just drama from start to finish, right? And then, he gave so much effort when he was in Houston, and just to come up with Chris Paul injury short of a title, or at least going into a championship. It's rough for me. So I do think if he goes to Houston, he's just giving up. And
I agree. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I think if he goes back to Houston with that roster, you're not winning shit. And at this point, you're not even the old James Harden that we're used to seeing. If you was the old James Harden that was giving up or putting up, 30 and 10 or close to a triple double. I mean, you was damn near, it was a season, you was damn near averaging close to a triple double, and you was in the MVP conversation with Russell Westbrook, and it was a debate. If you was putting up those kind of numbers with Philly, they would have been a lot closer than what the fuck they've been. But they haven't because he's not the same. He's older. His game has changed. And I think him doing that is, like you said, absolutely, it's just throwing in the towel. It's him saying, I mean, I just want to be home, collect this bread, and I'm gonna retire where I want to be, and that's it. But at this point, I mean, I don't think he can turn it around. I don't think he can go back to his old ways of the triple double and all that. I mean, And if you really watch his game, some of his shit is dying. His game is dying. They caught on to it defensively, all of that. I don't think he's the same. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I do feel like he's not the same. He can't go back to his old self. That was him when he was younger, and that's kind of where we're at right now.
Keep talking.
Justin commented he's going to LA. Him for Paul George. Him for Paul George is, that's interesting.
I have heard Clippers are super interested. No, whether that happens or not, it's just another destination for him. Now you got to deal with two people. I mean, it's the same situation. I don't see a difference.
How would that work?
I don't see a difference in Harden. What you mean? It's the same.
Oh, they will put Maxey at the 1, Paul George at the 2, Tobias 3. Okay, and then keep their what's called. That's not. I mean, I'm hearing they're really, really liking Maxey. Don't get me wrong. I think he could be a beast, but I don't think he's gonna be like an all-star. No, I don't think he's that good.
I see him as like a discount version of Jaylen Brown. Discount. I just mean not like he's right underneath them. Like you heard me. The same handles, the same, turnover prone mistakes. Max can get busy, but like he's just a little careless. He had some trouble with that in the playoffs, specifically with that last series they were in with with the Celtics.
Got you. Justin said in the comments, when tighter coverage comes. He said injuries, easy way to get rid of Paul George and save money. I mean, if he taking $36 million being James Harden for Paul George, because ain't Paul George over 45?
45 what?
Million?
Like age?
No.
I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what are you smoking?
No, over 45 age. Look, now you got me saying it. 45 million. I think Paul George is like over 40 something mil. And if you saying James Harden just took it for 36, don't get me wrong, that's a deal on Philly's part, because I thought his shit was higher than that. But that's a deal. That's a bargain.
Yeah, let me go to the Woj post. Keep talking for now until I get to Woj.
Yeah, so the team's interested in James, to my knowledge, is of course Philly, which you say he did re-sign, but they could possibly trade him. Houston, of course, the Clippers that we talked about. This dark horse team that would not expect, and I hope they don't do it, is New York Knicks. That would be disgustingly ugly. Phoenix, and recently within the last hour, you got the Heat talking about possible James Harden. The Heat,
$35.6 million option, and they're working together, exploring trade scenarios.
So
the Clippers and the Knicks are teams to be expected to try to get Harden.
Yeah,
which I think the Knicks. I like the Knicks idea more than I like the Clippers idea.
Miami's a better fit.
First off, Harden would never want to be on the damn Miami Heat's weight program.
Why? They have you know how many strip clubs they have? What the fuck are you talking about? You know where he could be down there?
Yeah, he doesn't, bro. He wants to be comfortable. He don't want to be in a disciplined championship. Like, if we're being honest, Harden's not the type to be uptight in a championship franchise. Like, let's be honest.
It's not about that, bro. It's trying to go He's trying to go and go like this, bro.
I want to too. I'm just playing. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But he doesn't want to have both of those at the same time. He wants to do it how he wants to do it. Right? He doesn't want to really have to buckle down and be as serious as what Miami Heat players have to do essentially when they go. He doesn't hit me as a Miami Heat type.
Their culture. I get you.
Now, if he was willing to give up and make sacrifices and if he buckled down, it would. How about this? It would impress me if James Harden made the decision to go to the Miami, because I don't see that being his thing. I don't see that being his vibe.
He getting
Now,
older.
Miami,
He
the
getting
city
wiser.
itself, yes.
You know.
But if that was the case, he knew he could go. He would go to Miami, every weekend if he could choose. But like that, and not have to play for Miami. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. All right, let's talk about another former Brooklyn player, and Kyrie Irving is a very fascinating. I feel like Kyrie right now really is dynamic in this whole NBA offseason. I feel like he sets the tone for a lot of players. I feel like a lot of people are watching where he goes.
I'm listening.
A lot of people are watching where he goes.
How?
And I feel like it's more fascinating than James Harden, because I feel like Kyrie can still ball at a prime level versus where James is kind of like past his prime.
And the only thing I was comment about that.
Keep going.
No. I listen. The only thing I would say, and this is the issue about both of those players, because we all know they are, or they can be game changing, and team changing players, is the salary cap. Most teams that they would go to for contending reasons can't afford them. So unless they are willing to take a major pay cut, teams can't afford them. And they're both in the same boat with that. Like Kyrie's teams, Dallas, Rockets, who have the cap, Miami, it will be obviously a signing trade. Phoenix, it will be a signing trade, and even the Lakers will be a signing trade. So nobody can really afford either of them, because the teams that do have the cap to sign them are like the Spurs, Detroit, Houston. It's these lower tier rebuilding teams. So it's like, let's be real. The only way you're going to get there is if those teams are willing to give up a crazy amount to possibly not even win it again or win at all. So it's just like, do you really have a chance, or do you really have a choice of your destinations? I hear like Kyrie's listening to he was listening to Houston's offer. He'll listen to them. He'll meet with people. Let's be real. You're not going to Houston. You're not going to be with a young team. You're in the prime / end of your career. You're not going there. The best place for Kyrie is to stay in Dallas and try to them work around him and Luka and figure this shit out. That's just me.
I definitely agree. Is there any place besides Dallas that you'll be down with? I'll be right back.
For Kyrie, I mean, I could see the Miami thing because of the simple fact they play the defense without him. They don't need him to play defense. They need a scorer, somebody that they could just sit there and watch them do the do and just kick out and shoot threes. That's what Jimmy Butler tries to do, but he can't. He can't create his own shot as efficiently and effectively as Kyrie would. So I think Kyrie would be an okay fit in Miami. But again, the trade assets they would have to give up for that because they can't afford him. So they would have to be a signing trade. And I don't think Dallas would be like, well, we're just going to watch him walk for a first round pick in 2030. No, they're going to try to be greedy and be like, throw in Strus, throw in anybody that could shoot that could work around Luka. Like I feel like they'll try to be greedy as they should to get the best out of the deal. So that's where my head is at with it. But it's either Dallas or Miami. I don't really see any other team. I'm hearing Phoenix again, but I don't think he'll team up with KD. That's too much. Like 4 motherfuckers like that on one team, that's doing too much. They need to chill with that.
I'm really in love with the Mavericks idea just because I feel like it's too soon to break that up.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like half a season wasn't enough to finish the experiment that was. And I feel like something beautiful can kind of come from it. Him and Luka, and they can figure a way out. I feel like, again, half a season just isn't long enough to really implement things to complement Kyrie's game, or just figure out that the 2-man between him and Luka. I don't think it was long enough to really perfect that, and then obviously that showed in the playoffs, and it just didn't not having enough time, I think, really equated to just not having playoffs, or getting into the playoffs.
They they
Uh,
they didn't make the playoffs.
and so I think that you give them some more time. I know they didn't make the playoffs. That's what I said. But it didn't equate to playoff success because as soon as he joined, things just went downhill.
Hmm.
And that's what happens when you choose to break up a team and you trade, a good portion of your team in the chemistry that you already had. So I think you bring Kyrie back, you really give your time the off season to really recreate that. Now, word is Kyrie doesn't want to be back with the Mavericks. That's what I
Hmm.
keep hearing. But I think also to combine what I'm thinking with what I think you were trying to say is these max players are going to have to adjust their expectations when it comes to getting paid because of the new salary cap rules. And I think that you're going to get a lot of these role players essentially they're going to be making a lot of money because these max players aren't going to want to lower their expectations. They feel like they're worth more because Kyrie was making that type of money when he went to Brooklyn, and you can't have that amount of max players on one team now. And so now they have what? Okay, well, this isn't what we're gonna continue to get, and that comes with lowering your expectations. Um,
And to piggyback off of that, the thing is is it's more the the players do need to take more of a pay cut, but that's because right now the teams are paying people they overpaid early on. So with the cap being the way it is, if it's at 134 and three people is at over that or at 128, look how much certain owners aren't willing to pay that luxury tax. They like I know we can't compete with X, Y, and Z. Why am I about to pay 120, 100 or over 100 million for us to lose in the first round? No, I'm not paying that shit. So it's just like now I'm forcing the players to take a pay cut. So if y'all want to team up, one of y'all motherfuckers got to take a pay cut. I like it. I think it makes them more humble in a way, the superstars. Or you go fucking be a Giannis and you or a Joker now, and you're the only one with a super max on your team. I like it. I like the way this shit is going. It stops the fucking teaming up KD shit. I like it's getting rid of that. I like it. I really do like it.
but it's definitely gonna help these small market teams. Like, let's be honest. When was the last time people were really like thinking about the Dallas Mavericks going to the Dallas Mavericks? Like the 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 top teams that we've been talking about. Uh, it's gonna get a little watered down. We're not gonna have those three superstars again. So I think those small market teams that aren't really popular, I think they're gonna have a chance
I
now.
agree.
Kyrie's looking at them like, you got the money, I'm coming with you. Like, okay, I gotta live in Utah for a little bit if I want to,
Pray to
win
God,
some.
no.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like,
shit.
worst case scenario, I have to go to give me a random. I have to go to Charlotte for a little bit to make some max money. Like that, it's gonna help the competition level and kind of spread it out a little bit more, um, and really make these teams work and not try to like cheat code their way out of here by trying to, you know, DM
Pay for a
their
ring
new
and try to
guys.
be like the Yankees. No offense to no Yankees fans.
Facts. I mean, you buy it. No more buying championships is what we're getting to.
Facts.
We are gonna end up moving on, but before we do, guys, we stream every Thursday, 7 o'clock. Sometimes 7:05, some 7:10. Just depends on technical difficulties, or we got real life stuff going on, so we might have 5 minute delays. But 7 o'clock on every Thursday. When things get busier, and when football and basketball seasons both hitting off, that's gonna we're gonna double up on the shows that we're doing. There'll be two shows a week. But until then, Thursdays, every Thursday at 7 p.m. That's our streaming schedule. We really want to hype up the streams that we have going. We appreciate everybody who has been comment below. But we want to give that streaming schedule just so you guys can join in every week. It's we feel the excitement, we feel the energy when it's more people listening and wanting to give some input on everything. So that's what we enjoy. Trey, you got anything to say about the streaming schedule?
No. Like I said, it will be more streams when we are actually in the middle of seasons because we'll have more content to discuss. So just be patient. We'll try to bring as much content as we could during the meantime. But we do appreciate y'all being there for us.
We want you guys to comment. We want you guys to be part of the show because that's the whole point of us doing this content is for you, for people to listen to the conversation and be involved and feel like this is the people show essentially. And this show will go as far as you guys take it. So again, 7 o'clock every Thursday. That's how we're rolling. And our next part of this show is going to be a sponsorship commercial from Dreadsock. We're about to let it play. Here you go. All right, that's mainly for the YouTube audience. If you watch the long form content, we are on YouTube also. We post the whole stream edited and fancied up on YouTube. Make sure you go watch it. Dreadsock, they're amazing in hair protection. If you have locks or just wear protective hairstyles, make sure you hit the Instagram. Make sure you hit that www.dreadsock.com. Hit that store up and go buy a piece of merch. They're great. They're absolutely wonderful. And they're a great sponsor for the show. With that being said, we're going to get back to sports. Most importantly, football, because my one true love that I haven't been able to talk about for a good while because these NBA playoffs have just ended and a slow season. So we're getting back to it.
Your love has been cheating
Recently,
on you.
You said what?
Your love has been cheating on you.
I know, man. It's been a little slow. She won't. Never mind. Let me. I think it's about to make me go on the road, bro. My one true love just ain't been giving it up lately. It's just not enough to talk to her about. So we got to get going. With that being said, NFL football, my one true love. Let's talk about it. Travis Kelce, the best tight end of all time, came out.
Whoa! Hold on. We're not about to let that rock. Whoa!
If you say Shannon just because you're a Denver Broncos fan,
I'm not. I'm realistic. I am not. It is Tony Gonzalez, but whoa.
Come on, man. How you gonna root for your own rival?
I'm not rooting. I'm realistic. I'm this is my job, and Tony Gonzalez is the best. But go on.
I feel like even Tony Gonzalez would come out and say Travis Kelce is somewhat better than him, but that's the point. They did do a podcast show. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. Okay. But with that being said, Travis Kelce is the subject we're talking about. He came out and talked about pretty much his pay versus other tight ends, and he has recently. Let me get the actual post so we can talk factually about this. I don't want to mix his words up. He came out and said, give me a second. He came out and talked about people criticize how much he gets paid versus his production. Pretty much he came out and said he was okay with getting paid in less than other tight ends. For example, he gets paid through 2025. He ranks and paid third amongst other NFL tight ends. He's getting paid $11 million this year. And number 2 is George Kittle. And Darren Waller is getting paid $17 million.
Oh my God! 17?
17. Gotta pay the place. But actually, I'm 100% fine with Darren Waller getting paid $17 million.
Shut up.
Because I feel like he could compete with Travis Kelce when it comes
to
being one of the best tight ends right now.
Oh.
That's besides the point.
Hold on.
17 million.
I'm aching. Hold up. That hurt me. That hurt. I was expecting
It ain't that bad.
It is. That's. I know he's taking. I know Kelsey's taking a pay cut, but Darren Waller can barely stay on the field. We paying who? Oakland. Las Vegas was paying him $17 million for what? And then they traded him because he didn't because he wasn't invited to because he didn't invite the coach to his wedding.
I mean, right? He's about to make me go on like a little rant about his wife.
Kelsey Plum, we look. You're beautiful, by the way.
What a plum! What a plum! Son, God. Both two great human beings, though. That's what's most important in life.
Oh shit!
But let's get to let's focus. Yes, he's getting paid as the third best tight end in the game. Even though he performs as the number one tight end in the game, he pretty much said he was okay with being paid less than other guys because he wins more. So he's okay with getting paid less to win more versus the other guys like Darren Waller and George Kittle who don't have championship rings. Actually, George Kittle. Wait, am I tripping on that?
What?
No.
George Kittle don't got nothing.
Yeah, that's right. So pretty much he's okay winning championships and getting paid less versus not having championships and getting paid more. How do we feel about this?
I think most players. I think more star players need to be like that, and I think that's what separates, in my opinion, people like Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes. They're willing to take a pay cut so that the team can be productive and the team can produce the W's when they matter most. That's what separates him or that team and people on that team from people that is all about themselves and just making sure they get their bank. Like, for instance, my opinion, I think Lamar just got the bag. But look who's on that team. You really don't have anybody else. And I think that's what separates the people, again, the people we're talking about in Super Bowl winning people, not just contending, winning. That's the main thing. You could contend every year. You get to the playoffs, you're allegedly contending in football. Okay, it's one game, so it's a little bit different than basketball. But let's be real here. Are you really contending knowing that all you have to do is shut down one player and it's over? No, you're not. I'm sorry. So I think in a sense of more players need to be like that, let alone superstars need to be like that. In regards to taking a pay cut, letting other people get some money just so it makes the team better. Because their team isn't all that. But the simple fact they have decent enough players around their superstars, that's what makes them contending every single year. And it's going to continue to be that way because they're unselfish, not only with the way they play, but also just their freaking pockets. Because we all know Mahomes could be getting 60 million a year. He's the best quarterback in the league. But he's not doing that. That's just an example.
I'm going to call Cat. Okay? I think you're absolutely wrong because the reason why he can afford to not get paid as much, or, for example, Tom Brady could not get paid as much, right? He would take team-friendly contracts, and while Pat Mahomes can take team-friendly contracts, it's because they know they're gonna go either way, and so they're more likely to take. They know they're going to go to the Super Bowl more likely, or pretty much, essentially, in the Patriots' case or Kansas City's case, is that a Super Bowl is an automatic bid for them because they have a Patrick Mahomes or they have a Tom Brady, who we know is essentially going to go to the Super Bowl more likely. But
not if he throwing to your neighborhood Food Lion coworker. What the fuck? Hell no.
What are you talking about?
If he's throwing to nobodies, if he's throwing to nobody, not even speed people, how is he gonna get to the Super Bowl? He's gonna throw it up in the air and he has to catch it himself. Somebody has to catch the shit. He's throwing to.
How'd they go last year? Because that's what you told me a few episodes ago. Was it Kansas City? If they can make it with Juju Smith-Schuster, they'll be all right.
Juju is not freaking your neighborhood Food Line worker. These suckers, you telling me if he's not taking a pay cut, they can't afford nobody else. Then he would be forced to work with these people. I'm saying
This is exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying if you play for the Raiders and I'm Darren Waller, of course I'm gonna sign for that 17 mil because I know for a fact most likely I'm not going to the Super Bowl. But if I play for Kansas City, and most likely the chances are I'm going to the Super Bowl, so I'm willing to do those team friendly contracts. But if I play for the Giants, why the hell would I think about not signing for as much money possible when there's a less than 10% chance I'm going to the Super Bowl? But I know for a fact if I play for Kansas City because we have Patrick Mahomes, that I'm willing to take less because they'll give us some depth, and most likely we do have a chance at going to the Super Bowl. But for these other teams that don't have the type of success and don't have the no one else has a player like Patrick Mahomes, essentially, you know, maybe the Bills with Josh Allen, or you maybe name a couple other players. But outside of those teams, I would never sign for less because my chances of going to the Super Bowl aren't going to increase just because I took 3 mil less
depends on your position too.
for a depth piece.
Depends on your position too. I feel like that's a very key piece. Very key piece.
And the Patriots, Tom Brady was probably more willing to take a less paid because he also had Bill Belichick, and he knew more likely than not they were going to be in the Super Bowl, or at least an AFC Championship. You can say the same thing for the Chiefs, but you can't say that for any other team. There's not one other team that I'd be like, okay, I'm taking less money because that's going to help us, that one extra player as a depth piece.
What you mean? It's two teams in the NFC now. I think people would be like that for. Philly, unfortunately, hate them to death, and
yes,
in the 49ers. I think if you're on that team, you would take a pay cut to be on a team with that star-studded fucking defense. Yes, absolutely.
I don't know who my quarterback is. Why the fuck am I taking a pay cut?
Because they clearly got that far with just fucking with their third string, and apparently now he's a starter. What the fuck? They could breed a quarterback out their fucking womb. Hell no. Yeah, absolutely. They could breed a quarterback in their backyard and just be like, hey, come play with us. And now apparently, oh, you're my starter next year. Y'all done traded first round picks after first round picks for this guy, and then this guy y'all done gave him some fucking Michael Jordan special juice, and now he's just starting quarterback. But we're gonna get to that later. Hold on.
Woj bomb alert. Woj bomb. It's not that important. Harrison Barnes has signed a 3-year extension with the Sacramento Kings for $54 million. I'm trying to do the math on that real quick. Fuck.
It's under 20. It's under 20, so that ain't bad.
18 mil a year.
Yeah, that ain't
which
bad.
is like half a max contract.
That's bad. That's under 20. Yes, that's alright for him. He can't shoot for shit.
I was about to say you have a stronger hate against him than I do. So I
mean, if you watch him play, even in the series this year against Golden State, real quick, bro, they was leaving him open to shoot threes. Bro couldn't shoot for shit, and that's why Golden State got rid of him. So it's about right. It's about right.
I'm assuming. I'm a fan of having veterans on your team, especially with that Sacramento team being pretty young. I like it. I'm okay with it. I mean, if it was someone else besides Harrison Barnes, like I wouldn't. I don't know. I just don't think he.
54 is not a lot. It's not a lot. It's not. For 3 years, it's not a lot.
Yeah, and I mean they could still trade him. It's not like money that's that hard to.
Agree.
Get rid of.
Agree.
But yeah. Back to the point. I'd be okay with the 49ers. You persuaded me that much that I'd be okay to take a little pay cut to play for the 49ers just because they have been consistent over the last few years, especially with Shanahan being coach.
Which I'm still pissed about. That should have been my head coach, but it is what it is.
He ain't his daddy. He don't want to come to Denver.
I'm still disappointed in that. Very disappointed in that.
Next subject: top 3 NFL free agents that may have an impact on teams. I think. Let me pull up the list.
No, ain't no list. What's your top 3? You don't know who the free agents are? What's your top 3 free agents?
I looked over it earlier. This is gonna actually my number one. If I'm a lot of teams speaking about running backs and whatnot, Kareem Hunt. I want this man on essentially any team, whether he's a backup or a starting running back. He still has the juice. Kareem Hunt will run through a brick wall if you bet him $5. He's that guy. I think even though he's been behind one of the best running backs in the league in Nick Chubb, even when he has played, he's one of the best running backs.
He's the best runner back in the league. I want you to correct your statement. The best runner back in the league. Now you can continue.
He's in the best running back.
No, he is the best running back in the league.
For running backs.
Shut up. Anyway.
He's in the best.
Go ahead. I'll shut up.
That's besides. You fuck my. I can't even clip that now, bro. You be fucking my clips up.
Cause your comments be throwing me off, and it's just like I gotta say it there. I can't piggyback later.
If it's debatable, then we can debate it. But like you just be fucking the groove and the rhythm up. God damn.
Fine.
But yes, Kareem Hunt. I'm just fucking with you. I don't care. Kareem Hunt. Again, still has the juice. I think he's just a great running back who can catch and he can run the ball equally as good. I think one thing, he's another energy guy where he can just break a play off and really add to a team in that way. Not just running for yards, but like he can shrug somebody off and like the whole sideline is going crazy. I don't have character worries because he hasn't had anything happen since Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a veteran now. Like he's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. And again, he runs like a horse, a bull. Like he's got it. So that's my number one as of right now. I'll hand you the mic.
My number one, I'm gonna go with.
Wait, is this like a draft? Are we like drafting? Like,
yeah.
Our top. All right, I like this. All right, your turn.
My number one, I'm gonna go with Jadeveon Clowney. I am. I think he's shown that he can still be productive at the age he is, which is I think he's between 30 and 32. He's not even like old, but again, he's defensive end. So it's like you want experienced people. You want somebody that knows the tendencies of certain offensive linemen, let alone tackles. Like he's been there. So for him to still be not picked up, and again, I was disappointed when he went back to the Browns as a fan of a team that needed defensive ends. It's just like this dude he showed you last year he can still be effective, especially if you have a number one defensive end. You don't want him as a number one. You want him as a number two.
Some people say he even busts heads, man. He just be busting heads.
See, so again, why wouldn't you want that on your team?
You didn't catch that.
You say be busting
heads. You still don't get it.
It's not sinking.
Damn,
no,
bruh.
it's
I'm
not sinking.
Gonna explain it, bro.
It's not sinking. I'm not going.
When he hit old dude with his helmet.
That was Myles Garrett.
Oh fuck! I'm fucked up. The other defensive man, I look stupid. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
You think you got me making me think I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Maybe I'm the one that's been drinking instead of your ass. Go ahead, man. I'm sure.
Anyway, I think he could be a good number 2 option, and I think again he's a game changer.
Overrated.
Wow.
Go ahead.
That was it. That's my number one. That's my number one.
I got you. I don't hate him. I think being a journeyman, his reputation gets knocked down a few notches at this point. He's a journeyman, and not living up to that college hype because of one play he had versus Michigan.
Well, He knocked out everybody in one play and got the fumble recovery.
He fucked that man's life up.
He did.
And everybody thought he was gonna be one of the best pass rushers.
What Aaron Donald is? Let's be real. What Aaron Donald
People
is.
thought he was gonna be slicing and dicing, which he's still good. Like I'm not gonna disrespect the man like that. You know, I think for this list we're gonna avoid the Dalvin Cook and DeAndre Hopkins just because we have already talked about them in other podcasts, and they're probably gonna get signed like any chance now. So I feel like they're the obvious choices.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not gonna go that way. I think someone who has potential as a free agent, and starting with a new home, I think, who reminds me a lot of, like, he's like a NFL equivalent to James Harden, is Zeke Elliott. I feel
God.
I feel like has a chance to start his redemption story. Now, I'm not sure if it will happen, but he has a redemption story of a lot of people are calling Zeke, fat, overweight, not motivated, not the same player he came into the league, which he showed he wasn't last year and the last couple years. He's seen constant regression in the past few years, but I think he has a chance to really have a redemption story. If right now, I'm talking right now, if this man is losing weight, if he is working as hard as what he needs to do to be a starting running back in this league, to be a three down running back, I think he has a chance. Now, if he's still just partying and doing crazy stuff in Texas, I'll take this back. But I think there's a good chance that he is working towards that. I haven't heard anything. There's no rumors out. No one's really talking about it. So, hell, he might be sitting on the couch. But we know he has the potential and the skills to do it. And I think that maybe not being in Dallas with those expectations that those fans have, those shitty, horrible fans, Dallas Cowboy fans, I think will help him get a restart in his career. Just being somewhere different. He's a running back who needs discipline and he needs a fresh home. People that believe in him and that's gonna stay on his ass. And hopefully he'll find that. Apparently no one likes how much he wants to get paid. And he's going to get humbled. I don't think he'll skip this year or anything like that. But we'll see. He's going to be a guy who if he signs, I want to see in training camp. And I want to hear updates about. Not hype. I want to hear actual updates, how he looks. Because a big part of his game is him looking good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I want to hear about. Your second guy, Trey.
Yours. My second guy was your first guy, Kareem Hunt. I ain't gonna talk much about it because you kind of already said it. I just think he was a dog as a second stringer, a second unit person, sharing the backfield. So I feel like he can continue to share a backfield and get more exposure. And I think if he was with a team that could utilize him as a possible number one, Denver. In the meantime, until their other running back gets back, I think it'll be a perfect fit. So I think it's teams out there that would benefit from Kareem Hunt, and I think it's a perfect chance for him. He's shown that he can be a number one or two back, and we all know you need at least two backs in this league. Unless your quarterback is freaking Patrick Mahomes, a top 3, top 5 quarterback, you need a running back. So a running back committee, excuse me. So I do think he's shown that, and he's willing to do that. So my number 2 is Kareem Hunt.
You know how great Cleveland had pretty much 2 number 1 backs.
I don't know. I don't know why they let him walk. I don't know why.
Still didn't have anything to show for it.
I don't know why.
They fucked it up. Who's your number 3? Would it be the number 4 on the list before we?
No.
I can talk about somebody different if that's the case.
My number 3 is another another defensive end, Yannick Inagwe. I think he is another guy where if the situation is right, he will show you that what he was when he was somewhat in Jacksonville. I know his situation died in Jacksonville, but that was due to the team just changing completely defensively. Because he's shown when they were top notch in the league defensively, she showed you what he could possibly do on a top notch defense. He was young at that time, which is even crazier. So give him the experience. I think he can he knows what it takes. So if you put him on a veteran team, he's not a number 1. He could be a number 2/number 3 option. And I think he'll show you the veteran experience that a team needs. So I do think he could be a good number 2 guy. Not even off the second unit, just the opposite side of your number 1. I think he's a good game changer. And I think the Colts letting him walk, maybe they think they got something better in their defense somewhere, maybe, but we'll freaking see.
I agree. I think he's a good high motor, super quick. So, I mean, that's always good for your pass rusher. It's definitely what you want. My number 3 is going to be Marcus Peters. I think that the reason why Baltimore isn't expected to re-sign him, I think the main what
nobody wants that. Nobody wants that hoodlum.
Hey, Marshawn Lynch gonna run through your fucking face talking about his cousin like that.
He don't want no smoke.
Bro, Marshawn Lynch was both.
No, Marshawn Lynch, I fucks with that dude. Is funny. I fucks with him, but Marcus Peters is just he's wild. The older he gets, the wilder he gets. Like, nah, I go ahead though. I'm cutting you off. My bad.
No, it's good. I'm used to it. It's fine. Marcus Peters, I think is a free agent that not a lot of people are talking about. I think a lot of the reason why Baltimore isn't expected to re-sign him or sign him back is because of his frame. He is somewhat smaller, and his tackling isn't the best in the universe because he does have that small frame. So I think a lot of teams are kind of turned away based on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he is a wild guy. But one thing you can say about him is he's willing. He's a ball hog, man. Like, he's willing to cover anybody. He's not gonna back down from anybody.
Facts.
I think one fault of his is that, like, he's a little aggressive. So those double moves he bites on a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But his pedigree and his willingness just to cover anybody, and he might not be the best, but he's going to damn try every shot he gets. He can always work on some things, but I like a guy who wants to compete. That's one thing Marcus Peters never back down from, is competing. And I hope he gets the bag, man. I really want him. I want him to go to a championship level team, contending team, and I think he can. I don't know, man. I think he can really. I want him to be able to show people, because I do think he can be in that top 10 list of cornerbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially top. I'm not gonna say top 5. I'll stick top 10 right now.
Mm-hmm. But I say don't push it.
But I want to see that. I really do want to see that.
I agree that he is a ball hawk. I think, like you said, the older he got, he tries to read it more than he tries to read the play before it happens a lot more. I feel like his tackling wasn't always the best, because he was overly aggressive at times. But I do think, again, in the sense of his being man-to-man, being his forte and being his scheme that best fits him, just put him on a team that does a lot of man. Like, and again, I do think he's a dog. I do think he's one of those types where you're not going to say, oh, Marcus Peters over there, I'm going to throw up a go-get-it ball. Nah, that's not happening. Like, even at his age, I think he's 31, 32. You're still not doing that. No.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely, man. I'm surprised he's not signed with somebody already. To be honest with you.
It's sad to say, somebody got to get injured. Somebody has to get injured. Then he'll be signed
It,
immediately.
which shouldn't even matter, bro. Like it's so many bum cornerbacks. Not bum because if you're comparing my skill level to them, but like compared to other pros, man, it's a lot of dudes that just shouldn't be out there. Hell, I can think of two on the Eagles right now that just
And
ain't good.
and speaking of cornerbacks and former Eagles, shout out to Rasul Douglas for the West Virginia gear. Appreciate you, homie. Much love.
Razul, I would love for you to be on this podcast one day. Not right now because we're trying to get them reps up, and we want a much better show before we can invite a special guest. But any friend of Trey's is a friend of mine, so you are always welcome. Continue. Sorry, I
Nah,
didn't
you're
cut you
good.
off.
Just appreciate it. I felt like it was a perfect time. We talking about cornerbacks that you said something about the Eagles. It was just perfect time. So appreciate you, Sue. Yeah, I'll get you on here eventually.
Gotcha. Who's he playing for right now? Is he
He
playing
is
with the
in
Eagles?
Green Bay.
Ooh, ooh. Oh, so I've heard about Green Bay. You can ask him if it's true that they don't do cortisone shots and they don't do any like major uh injure like painkillers like that.
Hmm.
So you ask him about that. Let me know. Maybe it's something we can ask him when he gets on the show. Apparently, Green Bay is like one of the few teams that is anti like cortisone or any anti-inflammatory like that. They are anti that, and that's why a lot of people choose to not play for them.
Okay.
Uh, but apparently, that's like a whole thing. It's not like
I'm trying to figure out
uh,
who your insiders is.
oh no. I watch other non. I won't say the names of the shows, but competition. I watch the competition and interviews they've had. But yeah, that's just something. Ask them about it when we get a chance. So I saw a highlight from, or technically it was a low light from Razul that I was gonna ask him about if he ever came onto the show because I know we talked about that when we started coming up with this podcast. So I've actually got some questions already ready for him. So whenever,
We'll do.
that goes.
We'll see what we could do. We'll see what we could do.
All right, we are gonna every week until the NFL season starts, or at least till preseason gets around that time. We're gonna be going over each uh, division. Every week will be one division we pick. We co-signed that this is probably one of the worst divisions, if not the worst. So we're gonna go over this just because they're probably not gonna get much better than what they already are. So with that being said, I kind of picked the order of how like worst to best.
Hmm.
So first we're gonna go with the Cardinals.
Same page.
So
Same fucking page.
we agree that the Cardinals are gonna be the worst NFC West team this year.
They're gonna be one of the worst teams in the league.
Woo.
In the league, calling it now.
Oh
They're going for Caleb Williams.
yeah, I don't think a that's not a not popular opinion. So yeah, go ahead. Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I think they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league. They're going to end up drafting Caleb, and sad to say, they're going to end up trading Kyler Murray. Offense is just they have no weapons. They don't have anything. Kyler Murray sitting out this whole year because he pretty much tore his ACL at the end of last season, and they're going to use this year just to like hopefully keep his trade value high, but he's not playing. So this whole year he's out. Defense, they lost their defensive coordinator, Vance Joseph. He's back with Denver, and they're just, I mean, they have some key pieces over there still in Buda Baker. Isaiah Simmons is moving to safety apparently, which is a good fit for him. But I still think they don't have enough to compete with anybody else in the NFC. So I think in general, one of the worst teams, if not the worst team next year in the league, will be the Cardinals.
I agree with you that the Cardinals, this is the Caleb Williams year, or whoever the top notch quarterback coming in the next year's draft will be. Everybody's saying Caleb Williams, but a lot of people said that about the kid from South Carolina, or that's playing for South Carolina now. I think Spencer, whatever his name is.
Rattler.
So yeah, I hate that kid so much. That's besides the fact. But yeah, whoever is the top notch quarterback coming out the draft next year, this is your team. I hate to tell you, man. So shout out to you. I hope you're looking forward to your NFL future. But I don't think it's surprising to know that, you know, the team with the worst resources or rated the worst player friendly teams is the same team that's going to be one of the worst in the league as far as performance and record.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there's a surprise in that. Kyler, I know you brought him up. They don't know if he's going to play this season. There's some reports that it's not getting much better.
Mm-hmm.
He obviously did get hurt later on in the season, so we don't really know. But it doesn't really matter. The season's pretty much over with. Colt McCoy isn't going to lead you to the playoffs. There just isn't a lot of bright spots. You had J.J. Watt, who retired this year.
Mm-hmm.
You brought up Budda Baker, right? You brought up Budda Baker. He's
demanding a trade, yeah.
So I mean, it's everything. All the signs are on the wall. It's not going to be a good season. I don't want to bash them too much, but like, it's just there's not a lot there.
They said they suck. They suck. What the fuck? What are we about to sugarcoat shit? Y'all ass. Cardinals is ass. It's plain and simple. Y'all about to be the worst team in the league. Get ready for the following draft.
But you know what sucks, man? It was so many expectations last season because of Kyler and, you know, him. A lot of people for the last 2 years that thought, you know, this was gonna be one of the upcoming teams, and, you know, for everything to kind of go downhill with DeAndre Hopkins, you know, leaving, or he was released, correct? Yeah, he was released.
Yeah.
That, you know, so many things. Now you know, I talked about J.J. Watt. You got veterans leaving now. Like, all your leadership is pretty much out of the building. And again, I don't think Colt McCoy and James Conner is going to be. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's going to get you far.
I feel like we gave them too much time already. Yawn.
It's not going to go far. All right, I'll let you. Who do you think my next team is?
The Rams. Absolutely. The Rams. Absolutely. The Rams. The Rams. Rams is the next worst team. They need to get rid of all their vets. They started off with Jalen Ramsey. They let Michael.
Is this social justice podcast?
Wrong Floyd, but the Floyd guy. They let him walk. They just.
Wait. So you remember Malcolm Floyd, like the receiver for the Cardinals back in the day?
Yeah.
So do you know he actually has a brother, and his parents let him name his baby brother, and he chose to give his brother the same name as himself. So they got two, like Malcolm is Malcolm, and they got the same names. But anyway, this is random. My bad.
Yes, that's completely random. And why do you know that? I don't know.
We were talking about the Cardinals.
I don't know why you know that. But yes, the Rams just need to get rid of all their vets. Don't waste Aaron Donald's time. If he wants to retire, let him retire. If not, trade him to another team, which I don't think he's going to play for anybody else. Matthew Stafford.
He just resigned, didn't he? Didn't he just resign? I'm pretty sure he just resigned.
I get, but why? They're gonna be ass. Matthew Stafford, yeah, they still got Cooper Kupp, but I mean, you can't throw him. You could throw him the ball 30 times, but you don't. He can't win your Super Bowl by himself. They didn't win by himself before. So with that being said, they're the next ass team in that division, in my opinion. They're the third worst.
I did have them as the third worst, but I do think they're in a prime spot to rebuild just because they had a pretty good draft. They drafted a receiver. I can't pronounce his name. It's like Huku or something like that. He's pretty damn good. He's supposed to be like the quote unquote, from what I've heard, the next Robert Woods of their team. He has a chance. They did draft really good across the board. They just had a great draft.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're as bad as what you're making them seem. Like they're not gonna have a good season. Like they're gonna have best case 8-win season, right?
That's a lot.
That's best case scenario. That's why it's high. And then worst case scenario is like 3 to 4 wins. They're definitely they're in the middle of a rebuilding stage. Their down season was like the worst season they're gonna have. It can't be worse than what last year was, because that the worst thing that could happen to you was losing Stafford, losing Cup, right? Well, I'm going to assume that all of that isn't going to happen this year, and so I'll give them. I think they'll get 7, 8 wins. They had one of the worst passing games in the league last year, and obviously they had like multiple quarterbacks, 4 to 5.
What you talking about? Baker came in and did his thing. Chill out. That's why he got the starting gig now. Don't come at Baker last year. He was balling. He was balling. Fuck y'all. Fuck is you talking about?
Another kid I can't stand, man.
He was balling. Fuck is you talking about?
We don't even know if Baker's gonna start.
He's gonna start. Shut up. He gonna start because he was balling. Fuck you talking about?
Fuck out of here. I don't think they're as bad as what you kind of made them seem. I mean, they're not gonna be playoff. They're not gonna be a playoff team, but they won't be terrible. I am interested in what Stafford does because that's the big name. He's the one having elbow issues still. I want to see where that goes. Cooper Kupp, I think, will have a Cooper Kupp season, and that's the one thing that will get them to 8 wins. Again, you brought up them losing Ramsey. They drafted really good for the defensive line, so I think that will be back. Not as great as if you have Von Miller, but it'll be there.
Gotcha.
Right. Yeah, I don't think it would be as bad as what a lot of people make it seem. But they're not gonna be amazing. They're not gonna be amazing. But I think Cooper Kupp.
Say something stupid. Say something fucking stupid. Like, go ahead and say he's gonna be MVP. Go ahead. I fucking dare you.
No, I'm not that hard.
Okay.
It's a vibe that's lingering around this team. Every time I think about them, they're like, what happened last year might happen again. Like, I said most likely it won't happen again, but like the whole Stafford being hurt, something happened to Cooper Kupp just because he is that one guy.
See, you keep giving these bum teams all this time, and it's just like, why? Why?
This is important.
They suck. They're not doing anything. They suck. It's one guy. You could put 3 people on them, and then what they're gonna do? They don't have a running back. They don't have anybody else to throw the ball to. They suck. They fucking suck.
First off, Cam Akers isn't terrible. Like, he's okay.
Oh my God.
You gotta be. It's not bum or not bum. This isn't the game we're fucking playing. Like, they're decent. Again, we're talking about a decent team, and I wouldn't be surprised again if they get 8 wins max. Actually, I'll say 7 wins. They get 7 games. 7 wins this season.
We gave them more time than we did the Cardinals, and it was worse.
What do you mean? What? According to you, we give the bad teams less time, so that's what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, all right. We got Raiders.
Raiders are not in that division, sir. It's talking to Seahawks.
What? There's 4 teams in that division.
Think about it.
Oh shit! Wait, that's what I got.
Seahawks and San Francisco. I don't know where you talking about the Raiders.
What are you talking about?
I'll wait.
Hold on.
Yeah. Because the Raiders is in the AFC West, sir.
Yeah, I'm tripping on that one. Go ahead. I'm tripping. bro. That's what Google gets, bro.
The next team on my list is the Seahawks, and they're playoff bound. I think they're very young. I like what they've been doing draft wise. Running game is
Hell
good.
no, hell no.
Running game is good. Wide receiving core is good. Geno Smith is not the guy, but he's doing enough to keep them relevant. I think their defense needs to be. They've been drafting very, very good corners. Very, very good corners. Corners that Pete Carroll can fuck with and develop. I like what they're doing defensively. I think they're a team to watch. I don't like them because I never liked the Seahawks, but I do think football analytic wise, they are a team to keep on the radar as a come up and sleeper team. So that is my number 2.
So, we want to talk about Seahawks. I think one of the best plays in the draft was the Seahawks going and getting Njigba from Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the best moves in the draft to me. That whole team from top to bottom from the past few draft classes is just getting faster and faster and just more athletic.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the criticisms that Seahawks had a couple years ago. It was so many veterans, and they just weren't an athletic team, and they're doing the exact opposite right now. I'm super excited, but everything stops and starts with Geno Smith. What do we think Geno Smith really is? Because he had a great season last year. Before that, he was a travelman, and I don't want to. One really good season, I don't want to go off of that. So
I agree.
What do we think Geno Smith really is?
I think if he was to even do, if he was to duplicate in any way what he just did, or somewhat close to it, is a successful season for him. I don't think he's your franchise quarterback. I don't think it's somebody you can build around and all that. No, you still need to go find somebody in the draft. I mean, they still got Drew Lock, which I think has a freaking cannon. But again, he's not. I don't think he's a starter. So
No. Drew Lock is not in the starter range. Why are we talking about Drew Lock?
I was going through the quarterbacks, but again, my point was, Geno isn't.
Geno Smith.
Geno isn't the long term answer. They signed him to a 3-year deal extension because if he does have a shitty year, they can flip that and he could be a backup somewhere else. But in general, I don't think he's going to. He's not the long term. So regardless, you got a young team, and he's more on the other side of that. So realistically, you're gonna have to draft somebody and develop them. And I mean, Geno, honestly, all he do is play action and throw that shit deep, which he always had a deep ball. Like when he was at West Virginia, he had a deep ball. When he was with the Jets, he had a deep ball. He always had somewhat of a deep ball. He learned from Russell when he was there. So it was like, I mean, if the system he benefited from the system. If the system was to continue to be around him, he can duplicate it. If not, if they change up, he gonna go right back to the Jets. Geno that we all know and love.
I think that he's gonna give a good medium type of performance. Like I don't expect it to be as great as last year. I think it's gonna be some regression. But
okay.
Again, like you said, he's not the future of this franchise. They know it, and I think they're prepped to try to go get one of these college quarterbacks. Now, would the draft pick they have be that low? Not sure. But they have all the pieces that if they did hit on a quarterback, that they'd be one of the best teams in the NFL, in my opinion. And I really have a lot of hope for Seahawks. I want to see Woolen do great this year again too. Young cornerback who really made a name for himself. I want him to keep balling. All these young pieces, man. They have a lot of potential. I think they make the playoffs this year, regardless of whether Geno has a phenomenal year or okay year. It's a lot of potential with this team. I'm really excited to watch him play. Njigba is going to be something.
Next to DK and next to him and Lockett, yeah, they core is crazy, dog.
and I don't know if Najigba is going to be Lockett's replacement, you know, in the future,
Mm-hmm.
if that's what they're trying to do. But just a lot of potential.
I mean,
All right, go ahead. What?
no, they still got a year or two together, so it is. Hey,
Yep.
it could work out.
Yep.
Lastly, the
All right.
only team left in that division, we got San Fran, which we all know top 2, 3 team in the NFC. Stacked defensively. We all know their defense is always top notch, if not the best defense in the league. McCaffrey came on, did what the fuck he was expected to do. Fucking beast and demon. And then the only question is who the hell is going to be behind center? That's the only question. If there's any other question, please let me know. But this is the only question you have for them is who's going to be behind center. You had Trey Lance, he got injured. Then you had Jimmy G, he got injured. Brock Purdy come in and he looks like freaking the next freaking Aaron Rodgers in the sense of freaking coming in off an injury and playing like God knows, oh my God, you can't lose a game. So it's like, and then he gets injured. So it's not even like he lost the game, he got injured. It's like they don't know what to do next with quarterbacks. But it's just like at this point, you can't miss, right?
What do you mean you can't miss?
Whoever you go, I mean Jimmy G's going. So if you go with Trey Lance or Brock Purdy, you can't miss, right? You can't fuck up that situation, right? Not with the team around him.
I think it's very possible to fuck up the situation, and this is why I think so. Is because from my sources that I will not reveal, um, but apparently Brock Purdy is on the track to be healthy to start.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've heard about the surgery he's having, it's the baseball elbow surgery. What's it called?
Tommy John.
Yes, Tommy John. There's a big chance he'll come back and not be the same player he was as far as his throwing motion. That's a chance. Then the second chance is he does come back, and let's just say Trey. There's in that building, from what I've been told, there is no confidence in Trey Lance. That apparently the whole team doesn't fuck with him. Pretty much, like he has no teammates that want to talk to him. He has no friends. Pretty much. Apparently, the sources, what I've been told is, he went to an Oakland A's game. The reason why he went to the Oakland A's game was because he was scared. He went by himself. No teammates went with him, which is kind of strange scene, especially when you're quarterback. And it's very little details, but like still important. And he went to an Oakland A's game because he was scared that if he went to a San Francisco Giants game, that he'd get booed by the fans because there's the most of the San Francisco fans are also 49ers fans, and so he chose to go there. And then no teammates are like his friends or believe in him pretty much. Apparently the coaches are out on him anyways too. So all the hope is on Purdy and this injury. Now, let's just say Purdy comes back, something happens, or he isn't playing like he is. Now you go to Trey Lance, and Trey Lance is like, nobody fuck with me then. Now you ain't got a choice but to fuck with me now, right? So I think multiple things can happen. I still think Trey Lance deserves a shot just because, he had his few games. Everybody knew it was going to, because of accuracy issues, that it's going to take a while for him to develop. He didn't get, because of injury, he didn't get that time.
Mm-hmm.
And people hopped on the Purdy train pretty fast, but he had, some great performances and helped that team out a lot. So I think this whole quarterback, we've seen quarterback situations really lose, you make or break it for teams. And I think this can happen specifically now because there is no Jimmy G to fall back on. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There is no Jimmy G to fall back on for solid, a decent performance to finish off the rest of the season to make the playoffs. There isn't that. So I think there is a chance that this could be fucked up. But the one good thing about the 49ers is Shanahan's offense is very simple. And Their run game leads the way anyway. You got McCaffrey. Now, could there be a situation where McCaffrey gets hurt again and the entire offense is pretty much implodes anyway? Yes. That's why I'm gonna pick the Seahawks to win this division.
Yeah, you're a fucking idiot.
I know you got the 49ers. But there's a way that the 49ers and the Seahawks both make the playoffs. So, I mean, you have that. I would fall back on that too, just because, I mean, I don't think that. I find it hard, 49ers, because of recent history, that they don't make the playoffs. So, either way, I think either both of them make it or I'll take the Seahawks. But, yeah, I mean, overall, just pretty. It's not that bad of a.
It is. It's horrible.
Of a division.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
But yeah, so I think we're gonna. I keep playing with this thing, bro. This audio is probably fucked up for me playing with this. And it's probably fucked it up. Anyways, that is all for episode 6 of the Nuff Said podcast. Before we end this, make sure you guys, we post this on Spotify, iHeart, all those podcast apps that you like to listen to your podcast at. We have it on that. We also have the long form video on YouTube. Please go check that out. Again, we put a lot of time in this. And, you know, I think we put pretty good damn content out. So make sure you guys go check it out. We really appreciate the long form content just because it takes a lot more effort to listen to that. And yeah, man, I think this has been a great episode. Trey, it's always a pleasure working aside you, and you know.
Stop it! Stop it!
Hey, bro, watch out if I buy you some crumble cookies, all right?
I'm weak.
You know what I'm saying? Anything you want to say before we head up?
Nah, just continue to post, share these clips and reels on our social medias. We appreciate it. We do take the time to read each and every one of these comments. So again, the more you post, the more interaction you will get. So we do appreciate it. And again, just continue to share. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. I couldn't say it better myself. With that being said, that's episode 6 of the Nuff Said podcast. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next week. All right, guys.